Mayor, thank you, Mayor. Today's introductory, first I want to be remiss, Ryan attempted to stay as long as he could. He has been ill the last few days. He attempted to stay as much as he could, so I'm going to be leading today's budget workshop. Um, The purpose of today's meeting was to make sure that we went over some preliminary thoughts and input from you guys. We respectfully assigned for you guys to try to get any input or feedback or things that you may have had in mind that your constituency or yourself thought needed to be priorities. So I know we've talked about several things in the past, but this is your point to try to bring all of them together. I'll give an example, only because I'm making contact with Councilman Wallace. He's made it a very big approach. Both you and Dustin, Councilman Oliver, excuse me, have made the request for some flashing lights. We did try a pilot program with some flashers. It has started. We have done it, but if we want to continue, we would need funding for that. That's a capital improvement, or that's something we need to add to the budget. There was a request from different departments, from different folks, residents, to maybe redo the pickleball courts over at CN Park. If we want to add that, then we need input to make sure that that's something we want to look at possibly having. If there's any priorities that anybody may have or that your contingency may have asked for, this is the time to bring those forward so we can formulate some type of draft budget to bring back to you for initial review. Obviously, it's very preliminary. The preliminary rolls are rolling in, no pun intended. But as we go through this process, staff has put together what's in front of you. This is a draft synopsis. We're trying to put together our first ever CIP booklet to show you our capital improvement plan, show you every single item that is needed. The idea for this plan is to be spread over 5 years and for us to have some type of plan or idea of how we're going to fund these items. So what you have before you is a preliminary plan. Some of the departments are still putting in some of their final touches on some of the stuff and getting pricing. For example, there's a couple of these that don't have prices yet, or we have a range. Obviously, we can't get exact pricing because obviously we cannot bid this out yet because we're not approved to actually proceed with some of these items. So this is a preliminary of things that either staff has saw that there is a need based on their evaluations of each individual department, things that we've identified here, big items that we've talked about, or anything else that's necessary. I talked to PD just a little while ago. There's some things they're going to look at possibly adding. I talked to Captain Reeves and to Chief Garavay earlier. Our intent is to make this a complete idea of what we have. Now, this sheet totals $1.5 million. Can we probably get everything on here? No. Are there things on here that we might have to spread over certain years? Absolutely. We're completely understanding of that. But the synopsis and the direction we're going is to bring you a list of all things that we need and or want to be better and more effective at our jobs or to protect the livelihood of our residents and visitors. Yes, I'm sorry, I have to report that we did have a couple leaks. So I do apologize if you hear some banging. We've had a couple of leaks that we've experienced from the heavy rains the last few days. Yes, yes, ma'am.
We want to protect the building.
Yes, ma'am.
Should we just plow into this list?
Yes.
I've got some questions, like the very first one, court.
Yes.
Cubicles, there used to be cubicles in there.
Well,
And then they went away. And where are they? Why'd they go away
Certainly.
if we want them?
Originally, when I asked for the cubicles,
Are you turned on?
yes, Aaron would not let me get the ones that we needed. It just got to be too much in there. What we're wanting is something to put up that will help the noise. You know how noisy it gets out here in the foyer when people are on talking back and forth? Well, it's the same thing in our office. You have two people on the phone, they're talking over each other. It's loud. We've got to try and find a way to block this noise. When they're both at that window working, it's horrible when we're in court because we're getting all the noise from the foyer into here. So that's the reason we're wanting to get different types of cubicles to try and help the noise.
What
Situation.
would the difference be? Those were pretty high and they had
These actually
glass.
go up about 7 feet. It has a noise barrier on it, has its own little sliding door. That way they can shut that door. It also gives them a little bit of privacy. That way they're not on top of each other. They're in that room all day long. They need their own little space.
We also have I'm sorry to interrupt. We also have the sensitivity that there is sensitive information being discussed, obviously, when folks are talking, such as driver's license number or any of the information, so forth, that we want to make sure is as protected as possible. Sorry.
okay, I want to kind of level set because my definition of capital improvement plan is, literally an item that can be depreciated over in excess of 5 years. That is what a capital improvement. Now, if you're gonna show me some other, Texas law or whatever, that is not the case, but capital improvement. So basically, anything that would not be depreciated over less than 5 years would not be a capital improvement. And should, in my opinion, be in our regular budget. And just to echo your point on, well, the numbers are coming in. If I recall correctly at the last meeting, and I asked this specifically, that we would have actually no new revenue. So in my understanding, we actually have a budget number that we can actually start shooting for. If there's extra room later on, by all means, but we actually have a budget number that we can shoot for. And from my understanding of what was mentioned by my question and my response from the finance officer. And then the question I had on, for instance, and I wholeheartedly agree with you on the cubicles, but my question is this, and not only you're gonna be able to answer this. You're given a budget, and I know a lot of it is restricted because it can only go for court technology and only go for this. Within your court budget, do you get a portion of your court budget from the city?
We do.
Okay, and so, and I realize sometimes it gets moved here and moved there. So I would ask that, and obviously the other council members have their own input, that those things that are depreciated under 5 years, which is what, and I believe you're gonna have like cubicles, that that be put in your regular budget, and it's just not a CIP item.
Okay.
That, again, my other council members may have a different, but that's.
We were asked to put in a wish list. That's what we did.
Okay.
Whether we do it under CIP or if we do it under budget. This is something that has to be done
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
And I
we're
think
going
this
to
is
get
the
some of the
first-
laws for the
first
state.
draft, and it can be
Yes.
divvied up later
Yes,
where it
correct.
needs to be.
yes.
But definitely. And then the other thing on Encode, that's in addition to the court technology.
Yes, that is court technology. Some of it will need to come from the city because of the price of it. But that's if we go with 10. The issue we're having is 9. They're doing no updates on 9. There's no improvement. There's nowhere to go with 9. Yes, we're hosted with it. Eventually, down the road, in a couple of years, we would like to see the whole city go to 10.
And sometimes it's better to go ahead and bite the bullet and take it down than
Yes.
just have glitches later.
Any
This
other
is-
questions?
This is the same, 10 is the one you and I discussed about
Yes.
a year ago.
Yes,
And you were wanting to skip 9 and go on.
yes.
So nothing really has changed.
Nothing really has changed. We're looking at going to 9 cloud. We're trying to see if maybe that will do some improvement because it's the cloud. They are doing updates on 9 cloud. We're just waiting for a feedback from that. It's a lot cheaper to do that. So we're just waiting.
Is there anything needed with respect to parking software? Or is there anything else wrong with parking?
There's
That's not
several
been working
challenges right
correctly
now.
lately?
Yes.
There's several challenges with the parking right now. Unfortunately, we don't have an estimated price yet. We are discussing with different vendors some possibilities of what it could look like so we can put a proper proposal together to go out to get bids or quotes. But right now, as of the moment of this meeting, we don't have that yet.
And the
we
reason
have
I
had
was
some
asking is
challenges.
because Jerry handles. the
Yes.
parking, so.
Yes, we're working on that, looking at different companies. The company we have now said they were going to do a certain thing that they have not done, which is falling back on us to try and get it done until we either make a move or whatever we decide to do with it. Anything else?
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Jerry? Thank you. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, can you turn your microphone on?
That's okay.
Thank you.
Keep forgetting that. By the time I get used to it, you'll probably change the number.
No worries.
I've just got a question. I live in the Huntington complex.
Mhm.
And I've been seeing, and a lot of people have been coming up to, now you're on city council, what can you do about our mosquito issue?
That's with Public Works. I'm not
Okay,
Public
I wasn't
Works.
100%.
Yeah.
They do spray. It's just been so
With the
bad
rain and
right
everything,
now.
you just can't do it.
But you can holler at Richard. He'll,
Mosquito man.
yeah,
So,
mosquito man.
exactly what's been said. We do have the machine, and the weather has been our problem.
Yeah.
And the county has been spraying because
Yeah.
we check their schedule to see if the county is spraying. So if the county if KEMA is on the county schedule, we will not spray, for the reason being that we don't want to get in a situation where somebody may say their bees got killed or any of those kind of things. So we know who to blame, and we won't get blamed for it. But aside from that, anytime the weather's a factor, we will not be spraying, whether if it's raining, potential for rain, high winds. Those things are the reasons why we won't spray. And when one or two people call, in the past, we haven't, went out and sprayed because two people are calling. I've had one guy call all the time in the years. He's actually moved away now, so I don't have to worry about that call. But, we do take that into consideration because we are here working as well,
Yeah.
and we getting bit too. So,
Well, can I ask this of you? Is there any way I can get a copy of your schedule so I'll have it in case somebody asks me, why aren't they spraying? I'll say, hey,
we don't actually make a schedule. We do it, to be honest with you, off of call based. If the mosquitoes are bad, we know it too, right? And if you have a request, then feel free to call me directly, call City Hall and say, hey, mosquitoes are bad in this area. We will come out, respond to see, what we can do. Put it on our schedule. That way I can ask one of the guys who has a license to spray, hey, listen, council members are calling, residents are calling, and then we can prepare for that, at night, early mornings, or whatever.
okay, well, I'm
The-
glad to know that.
The county also has a portal that
Yeah,
residents can put
and I was
requests
going
in
to say
for.
that as well. If you can go on the county's website to their mosquito control, it shows their daily schedule. If they're going to spray, a lot of times they're going to say on their schedule, not spraying due to weather, but they're going to show you exactly where they're spraying. There's a spray map.
Councilman Rourke, what we'll do is we'll put together something not only for your consumption to share with your constituency, but also put something back out on the website to make sure that folks
And
know,
maybe
and also back out.
Richard or Caesar can email you that link and you can share it with.
Yeah, I'd be glad
Yeah,
to.
and
Do that.
before the meeting's over, I'll give you my direct number. That way you can call me directly if you need be. Okay.
Hang on, Richard, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, you're
You're
up.
Public Works is
You're up next.
Question on the equipment covering. Are you asking for specific covers for equipment or something to park under, like both?
It would be both, but right now, and we've talked about this some years back, about getting some covering for the equipment. We just bought that new machine, sitting out in the sun. It's,
Do you have room for a barn roof at the yard over there?
we have the room. I've actually gotten a couple quotes, not temporary, but, some quotes that ain't really exact, like was mentioned earlier. It's really not exact. And it's not all the equipment. It's some of it, like some of our traffic control devices, cones and barrels. Those things sitting out in the sun all day long are starting to fade. And if we can at least just get those covered, along with some of the equipment, our trailers, maybe not so much, but our tractor, we got 2 brand new tractors pretty much that's getting baked in the sun. We've had to replace some seats on some of the equipment that's been here for a while because there've been no covering over the years. And the seats start to crack and take on water, and then,
Are you talking more like a carport or?
yeah, something like carports, but a little bit stronger. I probably didn't include it in the packet or whatever, but there's been a couple examples given to me from the vendor on what they can do. And one of the examples was like you see at the apartment complexes,
Mhm.
you see what those coverings look like?
Yeah.
Basically, that's exactly what they sent.
That's what I was.
As far as the
saying.
picture,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they sent me back. That's what they do. Some of them one or two, like for the traffic control devices, that can be a car cover. It don't have to be that high dollar one. But we need something to cover this up because sooner or later, we'll be trying to buy, we need to buy some more right now, but they won't be of its use.
Yeah.
Because the coloring is faded, the reflective tape is faded. So, that's why we're asking for that.
What are you
And
thinking about for personnel shelter?
personnel shelter?
Uh-huh. It's on there with covered equipment, personnel shelter.
I don't know. I didn't.
I don't either.
Did you put something for personnel shelter?
I don't see that.
No,
Lee,
you-
do we-
That's PD.
Right there.
No, that's on the
Oh, that's
PD.
Oh, that's on
the
the
police.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll discuss that. in a
Oh, it
moment.
sure is.
Yeah, I know what that is now. Yeah, he can answer that question.
I saw you shaking your head. I should have known.
As I said, police aren't up yet. You'll get on the hot seat.
My bad.
Yeah.
If we could
I
touch
didn't
base
even
on
look.
a couple of these items, because even Public Works, although it's a good portion of it is not complete, there's some things that we've realized even as we've been putting this together. We don't have an actual jet truck, so we can't go out there and properly take care of some of the culverts. We don't have an actual bucket truck, so when it's time for us to do stuff that we have to get up high, we have to either go on a ladder or rent one, and obviously that becomes very costly. So there's a couple of things that I've asked Richard to start putting together to put on here, and if it doesn't get accepted, it doesn't get accepted, bless you, and I completely understand that. But we need to make sure that we're properly telling everybody, yourselves, the residents, everybody else, what the needs are. Sometimes we make things happen no matter what, and we're gonna always preach safety first. That's one reason why we got the machine that we purchased last year. Because if I can tell you, that grass was still getting cut, but if we would have been under OSHA, we probably would have had a problem with the way we were doing it.
Speaking of that machine, Richard, I don't see any request on here for other attachments, unless I
So
missed it. I'm willing.
one of the attachments that we had requested initially was the ditching bucket. That's something that Caesar and I have talked about, probably putting and getting into the budget and not actually a CIP. I believe that'll kind of help us at least clean around some of these ditches. And, because I talked with Fabian, who's been mainly operating that thing, and he said that he believed it may help, but then it may not get us really what we need. And Caesar mentioned about the ditches. A lot of these culverts are clogged up. I actually called the fire chief the other day to ask him if he would come out with his fire truck with the high pressure hose and clean out some of these culverts. Down at the end of Fay, the resident has called us twice in the last week. We went out there last week and tried to clean out the culvert, but
At the very end?
at the very end,
Okay.
they were taking on water down there because that ditch in the curve, in the cul-de-sac, there's two reasons why it's been happening. WCID has been dead end flushing that fire hydrant and flushing the mud down off in the ditch.
Yeah.
And we've asked them to stop, but, I mean, I know they have to do it, but there's a better way to do it. We've asked them to put a hose on it and let the hose, lay in the ditch instead of just flushing it out. So that culvert is packed with mud, and these residents.
I do mine the same way on the corner. I've come home many times and they're flushing it out. They're just right in my yard,
Send them a letter, send them a bill.
Well,
Do you think that's what's happening at the corner of Evergreen and Gordy?
Something's
It's
drained,
just-
something's drained off his property,
it's
even after it
drained.
rains.
I literally just came from there, and it's still draining
Yeah,
from out of there. So it's not, it's draining, which is a good thing, but it's
Right.
draining off of the property and
I
it's
just
going
wonder,
into the
'cause
stream.
It's only, it hasn't been bad except for the last couple of rains. I've been there for 2 years and I've never seen it like that.
Right.
How about you?
No, I mean, the last 2 rains has definitely been worse. And even days after the rain, you'll still see water coming
Yeah.
over that curb down to that drain at the corner.
We have the
closest to
same,
stop sign.
we have the same problem on South Kima Drive. That vacant property there is draining into the
Yeah.
ditch on South Kima Drive. Just this morning, Tyler called me like, hey, man, there's water draining out of that property over there. I'm like, it's been like that ever since I started here. Water has always drained off that property. So it's really nothing we can do about that.
I was just wondering if the drains were backing
Might
up.
need to build something on that
Reason.
land that has drainage in it.
Well, there you have it.
I took photos, during the last rain, specifically on that corner, because we noticed it was hilarious actually, because people were trying to decide which side of the road they were gonna go on.
It
So
was-
we
it
got
was-
some-
It was
some-
happening the same thing this morning. It
So
wasn't
this
as,
may need to be an engineering thing to take a look at.
it wasn't as bad this morning on Anders because the
No,
tide,
no, we're talking, I'm not talking Andrews, I'm talking.
South
drove
Kimmel Drive,
around. Your.
Evergreen?
Yep.
Evergreen, oh,
I-
okay.
I drove around.
Yeah, it was high.
I've
Well,
got a question.
The good thing about it is the tide was low this morning. That's why we didn't have a lot of water
Yeah.
standing,
Yeah.
and it went away pretty quick.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir?
Oh, when I lived in Galveston, they had a lot of property, mostly on the far west end, that had ditches. And they would also complain about the mosquitoes afterwards when water was up and, piling up in the ditch. But I was just thinking, wouldn't it make sense if we could somehow, whether we team with League City or just can do it ourselves, to put piping down and then cover the grass, cover the pipes up, and then maybe make sidewalks and maybe stretch the street a little bit wider?
That is music to our ears. That is music to our ears to hear you say that. That is very exciting to hear you say that.
I heard you
Um,
say that before.
Plenty of times, right? We've talked about being more of a curb and gutter city, and not so much of an open ditch city. And that's kind of, to summarize what it was that you just said, that is a dream. I think that's
A very
more
big one.
feasible, little by little to phase that in. And yes, that's one of the pros of ditch versus not, is ditch requires less maintenance from a regular basis. And because it's, like during the right of way, the residents and the businesses would share that responsibility. The difference with, in this case, closed ditch or curb and gutter to allow for sidewalks and hopefully like wider lanes, maybe a bike lane or anything of that nature, is the cost of that infrastructure. It is very, very costly, but something that we have looked at in the past. And it's part of our master drainage plan, drainage master plan, excuse me. So those are some of the things that we'd like to get done. And there are some sectors that we're attacking first.
Let me ask this, would it be okay if I went and met up with the people in League City and talked to them, see what they had to say, like a joint venture?
I think that they would be very happy to do that. However, we've already started those conversations, and it depends on where it is on TxDOT road versus city roads. As you know, like, for example, you're mentioning Lake City, so I'm assuming you're either talking about 96 or Lawrence, because that's where we border Lake City.
Technically, yeah.
So it would have a lot to do with what the plans are for that street. There has been some discussion of widening Lawrence Road, for example. We just had a meeting with TxDOT a few weeks ago where there's a plan to eventually widen 96. So those are part of the plans that are coming down. I mean, we're talking about 10 years down the line or so forth. So on those roads specifically, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But your main corridors, so your Evergreens, your Anders, your South Kima Drive, those streets are probably a little bit more feasible. One of the plans we have right now for South Kima Drive, for example, in the portion that is abutting the back of Meritage all the way to Anders, there's a very large open ditch there. Part of the plans that we submitted that we've gotten a partial approval from the county through the county bond project is to make that one curb and gutter. Unfortunately, the price of construction has gone a lot since we put those proposals in 3 or 4 years ago, and that's one of the biggest challenges that we're having. But yes, your thought process is exactly what we would like to do, and we want to eventually get to. Unfortunately, funding is the biggest challenge, and we're gonna have to find a way to attack that.
Well, let me ask this, it's wherever I can help, just let me know what I can do.
I know who to count on when it comes to stormwater. And I'm glad you're saying that, because actually, if we could, please, if there's no other comment on that, segue to some more public works items, talk about drainage.
Yeah,
No-
we're halfway through, so we need to talk faster.
At no other time has the importance of our pump station been more relevant than it has been in the last few months. I know historically we've said, well, just get rid of the pump drain and rise and raise up, what is it, Crazy Island
Swamp
Swamp Shack, and then that'll make the problem go away. At no other time have we noticed the importance of that pump station than when we had this massive water leak that shut down the city for pretty much, what was it, at least a full day. All that water, all that drainage from that entire Lighthouse District and pretty much from 8th Street over, we know for sure that is draining into that pump station. We know that because in all the drains that this water went down during the water leak that we could control and find out was only in one specific area and not tied to other areas, we were identified that was going to that pump station. That pump station, I would love to take everybody here on council. Obviously, we got to do it in twos unless we have what's called a mobile workshop. I would like to take you to go see these things. I would like to schedule some time between now and the next public budget workshop so you to understand and visually see what it is that we're asking for. I think that's of importance so you can see why we're asking for it. That pump station drains directly into the bay. We have no screen there. We have, it is a 4-pump station. Right now, we're down to,
It's a 3-pump station. Right now, we're down to 2.
Right.
And
actually, it's a 4 because we never had one before.
yeah, well, it is.
Technically, it's a 4-pump station. We only had 3 pumps to begin with. One's in the shop and one of the other 2 that's there is failing.
And the radiator to the backup generator is non-operational right now. So the most important thing right now is to get that backup generator operational, because right now, if we lose power, forget about it. There's no drain, that pump station is not gonna work. So that right there is of utmost importance, is to go ahead and let's get that radiator repaired.
So
Because we
that's
can't
why-
even turn that backup generator on, as you're gonna burn it up. And
So the pump station backup power and the pump station radiator repair or replacement.
right, we
And-
just
and-
had a surge protector put in, because if you remember, we had to replace the ATS some years back. So we finally got the surge protector put in, and an auto dialer that would alert us to when there's an issue, or if the pump's running, if it's not running, and those things. It's in there, but we don't have the information back from the company. They're still setting it up for us.
Although staff religiously checks this thing on a regular basis, we don't know what the rains that we've gotten. If these rains would have been overnight and we didn't have a person come by and check it and we needed to empty that throughout the night, obviously we're at our mercy of the actual tide. If the tide is high, it doesn't matter. The water's not going anywhere,
Yep.
right? But if the tide is in our favor and we can pump that water out, it still serves for better flood protection for that entire lighthouse district. So if you notice on here, out of the 10 items that Public Work has on here, 4 tied to that pump station. I cannot say the importance of that situation more. And it's never been more relevant than it has been with all these recent rains. We have an obligation to protect stormwater and protect drainage in that area, and I would ask you to please consider those things when we're going through this process. We are searching for grant funding on this. We are putting some preliminary applications together, see if we can offset that cost. But obviously, those things take time, and there's also a chance that we can apply and not be actually given those funds. So the concrete pad, so you guys understand, when you guys get a chance to go on the tour with us, right now, that concrete pad is capturing anything that comes through. So any silt or anything that comes through those lines, we do have what we call a riprap barrier that protects the water before it goes through the drain. But if you go look at that area right now, it is in very, very bad shape. And it's hard for us to maintain it because of the shape that it's in. So we can't send staff in there to go in there and randomly pressure wash it, for example. If it was a concrete base, like imagine a wide open half culvert, that would flow the water in, and it'd be much easier for us to maintain it. And that's what I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what that concrete pad is being replaced.
And the cost is going up, because the first quote we got about a year and a half, 18 months or so ago was $49,000. The same company quoted us $75,000 this time.
Almost doubled it.
Just some other quick questions here. Why would we need community center chairs and tables? Or something wrong with those?
The condition that those are in, we had asked for this in last year's budget. We tried to tape them and put them together, and it's
You're
getting.
talking like the 6-foot plastic?
The
Yes.
8-foot tables, half of them have already broken or they're cut up. We need new tables. The chairs are the old fold-up metal chairs. They're not for certain weight, and larger people sit in it, and they've been breaking them. They're old.
Why do we
We're
not just,
also, huh?
why do we not just rent this stuff when there's an event, charge it to the client that wants to rent the space?
I think it would drive the price up so much
Yes.
that you would not get any rentals.
Yeah.
You would either have to coincidentally
I
drop
mean,
the rental rate.
Every event space in this town does it, in the region does it.
No,
Not everybody,
not
not
true.
everybody.
Texas City does not.
Not everybody.
Texas City has
owns-
tables.
not every-
Most municipal community centers,
Well, I'm not talking about municipal, I'm talking about the ones that are more full than the city.
Yeah, the
owns, but,
Texas City Doyle Center,
people
they have,
rent stuff
you don't
all the
have to
time.
rent tables. They have the table.
I mean, every
and
time you,
chairs.
you're getting charged for it when you rent the venue.
That's a cost
for-
analysis.
For something
the-
else.
the
I just,
Question, I think, kind of.
we could
Yeah.
evaluate that during the process.
Yeah, that's cost analysis and as well as the cost would not be a CIP item, but definitely need, because when I've been volunteering.
We're also wanting to take down the blinds. They're dusty. It's expensive to have people go in and clean them. They're old. It does not keep the heat out. And we're suggesting to put a tent film on there that helps block the heat.
And
Which
protect the
will-
blinds.
Yeah, it'll get rid of the blinds. I'll make it look a lot better in there.
Yeah.
Don't we have
Also-
some issues with the windows themselves though?
Yes, on some of them, yes. So that would be addressed.
Yeah,
Blinds are-
definitely not
blinds
put
are
10
cool.
on, that's gonna have to be replaced.
Well, I just want to take a moment and just talk about that. One of the biggest reasons why we're looking at doing that is because of the stress that it puts on the AC, right? That building, for energy consumption, conservation reasons, we don't turn the AC on unless we need to use it. But when we do, when it's tough to trying to keep the place cool and getting the place cool to begin with, those 5, 6, 8 degrees difference of what it is now, what we believe it should be when the tent comes in, would make a difference. Also,
And
there
you
has
just
been
had
an
it
increased use.
repaired.
You just had it repaired, but there is an increased use of the community center. We are starting to get more requests. We're using it ourselves more. We're getting much more, whether it's nonprofits or paid or anything else. We're getting more people to use that center. We do know that it's not a money generating or revenue generating. We try to do the best we can to break even as much as we can, if not try to cover all of our costs as well. But we also know that it's an asset for the community. We do have it stated as our, a potential location station if we have to do evacuations or if we need, in the future, another item that's on here for a warming center. That's why we talked about the generator there.
Lions Club use it for their
There's-
Thanksgiving
There's
giveaway.
There's
thing.
plenty of community uses, and we're only getting more. This year, we've been challenged to put together a facility reservation form. Once we start advertising this center, it's going to compete with some of the other centers and probably exceed it and then get much more use.
But again, how much money did we lose in the community center last year?
But we'd have to run that report and get back to you.
I mean,
Certainly.
we need to know that number. I mean, some of this stuff, the windows, the AC, that, I mean, is what it is. You got to fix the place. We own it. We got to take care of it. It's
And
part
we
of
have
it.
discussed, we
But-
started
but we
discussing
start
about
talking
putting
about,
ceiling fans up to help the
you know,
circulation.
If we're only losing a couple $1,000s, I'm more inclined to be on board with some of these because you get your money back faster. But if I'm losing $75,000 a year already, and it's
Well, when you
going to
have,
take even longer to make this
when
money
you
back.
have people in there and they use it 3 times a month for free, it adds up. And
I'm-
that's every
look,
month, so.
Certainly, what we'll do, if it's okay, I think what I'm reading is, for the sake of time, is we'll get a cost analysis and bring it back.
Thank you.
I mean, we just need to know the detailed number before I
Roger.
get on board with
That's good.
$30,000 worth of expenses. That, is it going to take me 2 years to make that money back for the taxpayer or 10? I mean, and you're right, we give that place away a lot. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think some of our local,
I think
You
it's
know.
abused some, but
I don't
Some-
mind,
some-
I don't
some of
mind
the
the Lions
things
Club using it.
I think
They
it
do a lot
needs
for
to
the
be done
community, so,
because they help us out a lot, but.
One of the things that you'll see for approval is going to be a nonprofit rate, so that from now on, you're either going to have to pay the nonprofit rate, which at least will cover the cleaning expenses and whatnot, and some of the basic cost, versus not. So that way, if anybody comes to waive a fee for you, it's because they don't even want to pay the nonprofit rate. So I think that's been a theme that I've heard throughout the meetings lately. So you're going to have 3 rates. It's going to be resident, non-resident, and nonprofit. And then at that point, you can make that decision.
And Jerry, I'd like to back up on your Encode software. Is that a one-time fee? Do you have to pay a monthly fee? Do you have to
There is a
pay-
monthly fee and,
Is it on top of this 20 grand?
yes.
Okay.
But we're
But
paying a
you're
monthly
already
fee
paying
already.
now,
Yeah,
right?
we're
Yeah,
paying
we're
a
paying a
monthly fee
monthly fee
already.
now.
It's already
Okay.
there.
Yes, so.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
it would, I mean, that would be a wash.
Yes, it'd be
Okay.
a wash.
I want to mention one other thing when it comes to the community center and the generator that's, a want and actually a need. You got to think about that. You're renting this place out, and if you lose power there, somebody got an event going on, you dead in the water. They're dead in the water as far as, further in the event. So that's another thing to look at. Yep.
One of the things that we've looked at doing for this as a possible cost-saving factor in this case is that if we can't use that and can't afford a generator, is at least to get the box prepared so that if we needed to add a generator that we could rent and bring on site, it would be a cost-saving measure that way. So we are looking at different, we're not just coming and saying, hey, we want a generator over there. We're looking at different ways that we had to do it. We understand
I
that
think
that
there's an
expense is
easy
rather
enough
high.
argument there for FEMA money. If we're going to use it as a warming center and an evacuation spot for disasters.
Certainly, and they'll pay for the actual generator that we would bring over. That would be paid under FEMA reimbursement at the appropriate percentage. However, getting the hookup done beforehand is something different. That would be on us to prepare the site in case we wanted to go that route. And again, we are also aggressively searching for grant funding if possible to get that done.
Okay, Okay, let's try to move on and get
Let
to
me ask-
everybody on the list.
Let me ask one more thing. Public Works, would this be a good time to talk about sidewalks or not?
Yes, that would be a good time.
For repairs and for completion of some of the sidewalks that we,
So I did have a company reach out to us a while back, and the gentleman called me Friday, wanting to come out and do a sidewalk assessment. I kind of had talked to a couple different people, so I was kind of unclear what he was trying to do and what the cost was. So I spoke with Caesar about it, and this is a no-cost assessment that this company, they were supposed to come out yesterday and today, but the rain, I'm sure they didn't come out. So there is a assessment going on, possibly going on soon as the weather clears. But they're gonna come out and assess one, Kema Oaks for sure. And then, once we get that, they may move to another area, and all this is free.
is
So,
this just for repairs or for?
Well, so
Combination,
I
I
just
guess.
want to do two different things as far as that.
Okay.
So going back to Councilman Thorne's point, new sidewalks would be a capital improvement. Maintenance or repair on sidewalks would be a budgetary item, but we are looking at both to get that done. So for example, I believe probably the main one you're talking about is a sidewalk on Evergreen. There'll be an item later in a few minutes on that agenda that's part of that project that we're itching to get started.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, as far as finance is concerned, city administrator, community center, never mind.
That was just, that's audio visual for that place. We've had several meetings and had struggles with the audio
Well, I
visual.
think a lot of things we've talked about needs to come back with a much more specific number. And then we have two things here on finance, which is software related. Ryan's not here, but can you speak to?
I can just
this
speak to
here?
them very briefly. These, if you notice, we're not looking at proposing these for the 27 year, but when we're doing a CIP, we want to do a 5-year CIP. So we're looking at possibly spreading this between the 28 and 29 year. We're not ready yet, but we know that at some point we should include that, and that's why we're bringing this forward.
Okay. Now, Chief, your chunk.
My turn now? Okay, I'll just talk real quick, I'll skip a couple things, I'll let Captain Reese talk about.
Chief, turn your mic
Your
on.
mic is off.
About the surveillance in the tower, the covered, sheltered back here. We're running out of room, as you can see, when you were in there painting, and, we have that one wasted space, if you come out that side door, it's about 18 by 20 that we could use to cover, so we could put more of our equipment under there for protection. You're looking anywhere between $5,100, $5,500. Caesar supports it. We just need to, bring this to you guys. And also, there's also an area for these guys to hang out when in between that want to grab. There's not a break area inside the, period, inside the city. You see them out there in the hot sun, just kind of sitting on the bench, trying to grab some. So it's a combo type thing to protect some of our equipment, also for an area for these folks.
Would the water hose and the air pump be under it? Or
No,
would it
ma'am.
start at that
We
corner
could, we
and
could
go-
move it. It would be from that this way.
Okay, all
And
right,
it would be connecting to the existing.
right.
So that's one of the things on that. So we'll bring that to you. We also want to fence in that back end area. We've had members of the media that have come back there in our area, standing right on top of the other day, I found someone that got released from jail, sitting back there where we want to put this covered area, because technically it's not secured. The other thing is, if we bring in evidence, a vehicle that we're trying to seize, whatever it may be, the law requires us to have it in a secured area. A prisoner gets out the door, he's free to go. At least it's another barrier for them to try to escape through. We've already got a couple of bids on that. We were actually surprised that we thought we were looking at $40,000, $50,000. We're getting it somewhere around 25 to 28,000. So that's another thing we'd like to bring to y'all. Evidence locker. Right now, we have high school lockers where we put our evidence in with a lock. We are behind the time. That evidence room is a whole nother thing. Again, these are just things that we really need, not a want. We really need these things to get up to speed with everybody else. Evidence program, since I was told, we still have equipment in our evidence in our property room from 2009. Lieutenant Torres, over the last 3 to 4 months, with help from staff, we're going through that thing little by little to try to get rid of things. We think we're going to try to catch up. Our target is 2013. We've had 2 different evidence programs that they've used. They've lost, not evidence, they've just lost the data to it because of these. We want to go to this thing called the Beast, which is compatible with what League City's using, what Seabrook's using, so we could all be on the same link together. But first, Our goal is to get rid of everything from 2013 behind, then from 2013 forward, start working on putting everything into this B system. So that's something that we, again, not a want, it's a need that we really, really need. On the,
What line item is the beast in?
that's going to be the
Evidence
evidence
program.
program. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We should have put the beast out there. That's on me. I gave it to Caesar late. The storage slab, we actually got lucky and we put we got another Connex box that we're running out of plate. We were paying for a storage building, paying $250 a month. He and I got together and said, let's save some money. We found a good container, got a hold of it, brought it to save money. We just bought the container for now, but eventually we need to try to move it out into the empty overflow parking lot. And to do it right is to have it on a slab, bolt it down the proper way. So that's part of what we want to do. We actually want to get a third storage container because we're running out of room, so we'd have three, but a nice slab to put it on out there in that empty parking lot, secure them down for hurricane reasons and make it look nice. We may even go get a mural put on them later to just, not just be a storage container out in the middle of our parking lot, to make it actually look good in the parking lot. Beast, fencing, slab, locker, covered shelter, and then Captain Ruiz, I'll let you take these other two, the video surveillance and the communication tower.
Okay, well, I'd start with the communications tower first because that is paramount. That's actually top priority there. Our current communications tower has been in place since 1989, has never been serviced. So there was an engineering study that was done on it. You all have a copy of that study, and it says that it needs to be, either rehabbed or replaced. Another thing with the video surveillance, a lot of our cameras need to be upgraded. So that's one of the reasons why it's in the plan.
And y'all see the tower that's outside the PD, right? Since night, it's that long thing that's right here on the side, come in the front door. If that thing goes out, we're gonna have a lot of problems. That thing runs a lot of things that we got going on here at the police department within the city.
For safety reasons, since it is a soft target, that's another reason for the required fencing. And I'd rather not disclose that here at this meeting as to the need for it and the extreme need for safety purposes. However, I have no problem talking about that, guys, offline separately. It's not that we're trying to hide anything, it's just, we also have to err on the side of safety because it is a soft target.
Wow.
We were quick. But
It was
again,
quick, but
yes.
look at the price tag on these.
I will say about these two things, obviously, they're probably two of the biggest price tag items that are on this entire list. We are aggressively looking for funding or support to try to get these done. And we have been, and I think we may have found one or two that might qualify for it. And when the time comes, we'll bring some of these funding applications to you. And some of them we've already brought, but we haven't gotten word back yet. So either way, we needed to tell you what they were, because grant funded or not, the need still exists.
I understand.
Questions, concerns about us?
I don't have a question for the police department. That all makes sense, besides we can't afford all that, but.
Thanks. Thanks, brother.
I understand the need for it. The only question I don't hear, the IT stuff is coming up, but before we get into that, Natasha, there's nothing in here for the city secretary's office. You're not asking for anything? Okay.
So the PD could have.
Get out of here. I do think I'd like to add for your office some, I think we need to at least to look at pricing of having somebody go through our code book and updating our code, our ordinances and.
We have that, it's in my budget under recodification.
Okay.
It's not in the CIP, but it's in our regular budget.
Yeah,
So it's
As long as it's asked for.
Okay.
'Cause I know there's a lot of this
Yeah,
in the
I've
CIP
seen-
items. This is just a wish list.
I've
It's
seen
labeled
her
CIP.
budget and she had that in there.
Okay.
It was actually in last year's budget, if you remember, to get to the number that we wanted to get to, we had to make some cuts. And so that's one of the items that we cut last year. So we had a sacrifice from every department, and that was the sacrifice made by the city secretary's office.
So who's gonna answer, IT, or we're gonna
I can,
table it
I
to the
can,
next meeting?
I can actually
Oh, no.
answer most of IT. The plotter, as you know, we've been digitizing all of our records with regular scanners, but some of the documents that we have, including the plans, God forbid something happens, we only have one copy, which is a paper copy. Some of those are secured in an attic, and we don't, God forbid there's a flood or a leak or anything happens, then those could be compromised. We want to make sure we scan those and digitize all of those. That's the main reason for the plotter. The desktop, laptop replacements is because a lot of your computers in the city are either obsolete or getting there. We want to set a plan over the next 5 years to get those replaced. Also switching away from desktops and to laptops, because in case of emergency, a COVID, a storm, anything that would occur, we could easily pivot and transition to laptops instead of desktops. The redundant server and storage and PD records, we brought this item last year to the budget. We have servers, again, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we could do a better job of securing our servers better and making sure that they're safe. Obviously, they have a lot of important information. Our 911 and our entire city operates through our servers or the cloud. And either way, we do need to do a better job of how we have the servers. I can just summarize it by saying it looks like it's been piecemealed as the building has grown or things have happened with the building or needs. We kind of have server stuff all over the place, and it's best that we put them in the best place possible and as secure as possible, because some of them are in places they probably shouldn't be. And then the citywide camera system replacement, we've got cameras that some of them have never been maintenanced or replaced or needed replacement throughout the entire city. I believe maybe almost half of them need to be or are about to become obsolete throughout the entire city. And obviously, again, without going into certain scenarios of things, a lot of them are in compromising positions. We want to make sure that we update our camera system. A lot of them are also older models and running on software that if the recorder goes down, anything happens, we're not going to be able to access any of that camera footage.
10-second question on that. Is this in regards to the RFP that we just, where we brought in bids, or those are separate things?
Kind of. To answer your question, I guess I could say maybe tied to that in a partial way, tied to that for some of the maintenance stuff, but the RFP did not include everything that we need. So to answer your question,
Has it
partially.
been awarded yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, we've only got a couple more minutes, but, so everybody can have a break before our 4 o'clock. I guess direction would be to everyone that has something on this wish list to bring back, if you want it all in this budget or spread out over 2 budgets and more finalized numbers. Anything else?
Prioritize?
We will,
Prioritize, like literally put a 1 and a 2.
part of the actual CIP form, there's an actual form that goes with each one of these items. It includes a full description of what they are. There is a prioritization by department, and then you would get a full prioritization as to how those things align with all the city stuff. That's something that would be collectively done if and when that CIP is adopted. The idea is to adopt that in line with the budget. So that way, every year you update your CIP, you also pass your budget accordingly, based on what you were able to accomplish and what your new needs may be.
And has someone already started on a hot fund committee and how to do that through the budget cycle as well?
The last direction we received from this body was to bring that the council would be the hot fund committee.
Okay,
Because we did have a committee that was formed from before. The last direction was for the
and I do
council.
remember that.
However, if there's a desire to do that differently, then please let us know so we can move
No,
forward.
I think so. Fine.
I think we've got very clear direction. What I do ask, if there's anything that comes up before the next meeting, to please let us know with enough time to be able to put it together, compile it, and if we need to go out for pricing, so we hopefully can get it done in time for the next workshop in 2 weeks.
And the next workshop should be not next meeting, but
Excuse me.
every other meeting at 3 o'clock.
I don't have my calendar on me, but I believe it's the 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
But you'll let us know.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
3:55.
Time check, 3:57. Do you have anything come up to you that you like me to talk about? You ready? Yes, sir.
I talked to the Huntington, at the bus. I talked to the manager, and she said as long as it's after the 1st of July.
It'll probably be after the 4th of July, if that's okay. That's a
Well,
really busy week for us, but
I was thinking more like somewhere between the 7th and 10th.
let me get with Marcus, I'll send you an email. Are you getting my emails?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Sure, okay, well, if you need help with that, just let us know. You have your, if I can't reach you via email, I'll call you via the city cell phone. But I can talk to them and let them know that we'd like to do that, because he's already been over there a couple of times, but we'd love to do it again.
Yeah, but the problem is getting the management to go and tell everybody that you're all coming.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it seems to be a missing link. So when we had the previous manager was over there, Miss Yuli, was it Yuli?
Yoli was there.
Yoli. Yoli was able to kind of round people up a little bit better. We haven't had that same level with the current management, but
Well, I heard there's 144 apartments. And I just wonder if I can get 150, maybe 200 pamphlets.
I will put door hangers on the door and let them know
Okay,
to come
good.
down, if I can do that, if I'm allowed to, right? I need to make sure.
Well, I'll make sure they're allowed. No, just give them to me. We've got people who'll go and ask them around.
And that's what I'll do. I know, if they allow me to do it, I'll go door to door. You tell me where to go and I'll open the door hanger.
Well, we got a couple of people that like to hang doors.
Count on me for that. I'll follow up with Marcus, I'll set something up for the 3 o'clock.
And I'm serious, I'm gonna help wherever I can with the idea of making sidewalks and
It's been a big focal point for the city. We're working on that. We have a Louisville Centers grant that we received not too long ago, that we're trying to execute and get started here hopefully before the end of the year. So you'll see us start attacking something. We've been attacking sidewalks pretty heavy. You got Anders and Evergreen and the park and everything else. We're gonna keep.
well, I remember when I heard about Andrews, I thought, we rode down, I thought, I don't know if they just fill in these ditches, for lack of a better description. Because that was a big gripe from the west end of Galveston. We got all these ditches, we got
I
all the
remember,
rain.
I used to live in Galveston. I completely understand. I know exactly what you mean.
I'm the 5th generation. BOI.
I'm not BOI. I moved from South Florida, but when I moved here from Florida to Galveston.
It's a nice place, but the reason why I left is more along the lines of small town hypocrisy.
I can definitely concur with you there.
Big joke is that when the Kappa fraternity came, they took over the whole seafront.
I sent
And
an
they even
email, but I
shut down
sent it to the
Super
wrong
Walmart.
email address. I just wanted to ask you just.
We had a-
Yes, I sent it to you.
They came to go renew their,
But I did send
their
the wrong
contract
email.
for 1 more
Okay,
year.
I spelled
First thing that came out of their mouth is, you don't like us because of the color of our skin.
Hey, Darren, I'm checking the mic. Can you hear us? Okay, thank you.
Then he wondered why I wasn't reelected.
Which one said that?
I heard a name, but I'm not 100% sure, but from his personality.
within the past 18 to 24 months.
Well,
And
let's just say he's got a son here that's a lawyer,
Said,
on
and
in League
solicited
City,
money for the city.
but it's like, why in the world would someone do that?
So I just think that,
Yeah, I mean, how stupid can someone be? Sorry.
ethically, and I believe
It's
legally,
like,
that
how
he should disclose
stupid can
that.
someone be?
Because that's impossible.
Well, I'm starting to feel we're more
And
relaxed.
he's on KTD's event.
Well, I emailed you and Councilwoman Thorne. We had a discussion on that specifically
He is.
to try to make sure that we can get your one-on-ones done. I want to bring up a seat on some of these projects, explain the why behind certain things. We choose to change, we choose to change. That's a body's decision. Like I mentioned about the hot tax thing, the hot committee. Any of those things are something to change, but I want you to know why things are where they are.
Yeah,
He is
I'm
the
glad to know
direct
that.
report to
I'm gonna stick around here a long while.
current
so-
council member and KCD.
I'm here.
It's his direct
My,
report in a
father said
working,
that he
capacity.
bragged about how many political connections we had. He said that his connections with Bryce Daniels Jr. all the way to Lyndon Johnson like that. You don't want to brag about that.
No. Some things are better left unsaid.
For 7 years. Oh, he's so
Okay. Just forward your email. Just report it to us.
we have a forum, I will call to order the Kima City Council and Kima Public Facilities Corporation meeting at 4:04 p.m. The first thing on the agenda are our pledges.
Next thing on the agenda is a moment of silence. And the next thing will be to address Council George Haynes. And Mr. Haynes, would you make sure that the button is turned green? Okay,
It
thank
is,
you.
yes. Mhm. Good evening, everyone. My name is George Haynes. I'm the pastor of Fellowship Community Church here in Kima at FM 922. I'm here about Resolution 2026-25, Section 11B on the Federal Opportunity Zone and the Economic Development Resolution. I have a couple of questions related to the resolution. One, I have a question about what impact this question will be to current property owners in this federal opportunity zone. And then I think maybe a little closer to my concern or our concern, how will the designation of this area as a federal opportunity zone influence zoning laws or regulations that affect our church property? We would like to know this question's clarity. We have some concerns and how that might impact us. We'd like to know what specific incentives or benefits will be available to property owners, including our church, within this zone. Thank you.
And Mr. Haynes, we're not allowed to speak back to you, but I'm sure Caesar will follow up with you after the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay?
And-
And we have your email here, so he can answer that.
Very good.
Thank you.
Also, I will touch briefly on that when that item comes up as well, Mr. Hanks.
Very good. Thank you.
And next on the list is Ms. Cheryl Gonzalez.
Hi, yes, I've been before the city council 8 years ago concerning drainage. And you just don't seem to get the hang of drainage out here in front of City Hall. And I think you're just trying to flood this building again and make us have to have mold remediation and et cetera. When Eliud was here in Public Works, they used a tractor tire and a chain. It's very low tech, and they just put it on one side and they just pull it through the culvert. The culvert out there is not working. And it hasn't worked for several years. So all that you do is just wait for the water to kind of seep down and go who knows where. But when Carl was mayor, he had one of the city employees winch out the big concrete culverts. They're supposed to be right here going underneath the breezeway. And they never put them back in. And I asked the contractor if they were going to put them back in. He said, oh yeah, we already put them back in this morning. It was a big lie. So at the ribbon cutting for the new jail/city hall addition, I told one of the Kemah officers that the breezeway would flood and that their stuff in their lockers was going to get wet. And I think he did believe me, and other people didn't understand. So sure enough, in a later rain, the police lockers did flood because that spillway that's out there, there's no place for that water to go except for just kind of barely a gravity flow there. But this really needs to be fixed at some point. And I'm not quite sure if you're just trying to, tempt fate or whatever, but the new building is going to be compromised with the water that's not running. And sometimes it stays out here for days, like 3 days after the rain. And I think I'm the only one in the whole world that's even concerned about it. Everybody else seems to think that water standing out there is normal. Thank you.
Matt Wiggins.
Good evening, morning or something. I have a number of issues I want to talk about, but the main one is the Sportsplex. And I gave this speech years ago about the parking garage. And I start off that speech with, I'm against it, I'm against it, I'm against it. And I'm against the Sportsplex. Everything's been done in secret, everything. Who knows that we hired an Atlanta law firm? The city of Kemah hired an Atlanta law firm to represent us in the state of Texas with our agreement with the state of Texas. Does anybody know about that? Anybody here? Anybody? Robin signed this agreement. The letter's dated April 21st. Multiple pages, and those cats over in Georgia are on $750 an hour. That's the main one. There's a big schedule back here in the back. I can't believe the city of Kemah could not find a law firm in the state of Texas or in the city of Houston that could represent us. And it says the agreement between the city of Kemah and the state of Texas with respect to the development of the community center in Kemah. And we go to Atlanta. So who are they really representing? The city or somebody else? The person who's been trying to get $71 million out of the state of Texas. I have concerns about that. I have concerns about the city attorney formed a nonprofit back in December called Friends of Kemah. And it's the board of directors seems to be the KCDC board. I never saw that on any agenda items anywhere, and just don't understand why all this happens. We hired a firm in Austin called Bill Works. I've asked for their agreements with them. I've asked for copies of checks. I've asked for anything going on between us and them. And apparently we funnel their payments through our city attorney. I would say that that's felony abuse of the Open Records Act. And we have felony abuse of the Open Meetings and Open Records Acts for the last 2 or 3 years. Darren Broada said he's worked on this project for 3 years. Never hits the agendas anywhere. I'm not even sure the thing has ever been approved. I can't find it was ever on an agenda. So what you hiding? Somebody's hiding something. We have 2 new council members that probably don't know anything. We had 2 members that got off that were kept in the dark the whole time too. So to the extent that it's time for it to open it all up, let's go. Dustin made a comment the other day about 6th Street. This is a different subject, about 6th Street, that I was all for 6th Street. I've never made my opinion for or against 6th Street in either way. I'm okay with whatever y'all decide to do. I have 7 parking places on 6th Street that I would like to keep, and I would consider that an illegal taking if they disappeared. But that would be my only issue, and I would defer on what the final plans look like before I squawk too loud. Thank you for letting me speak.
Okay, next on the agenda are mayor comments and announcements. I just hope everybody's staying safe and dry. It looks like we had a tropical storm that came through, but missed us mainly. But I want to thank Richard and the Public Works team for checking the drains and ensuring as best drainage as could be had in the last few days. 2 of our staff members, Cesar Garcia and Oscar Carrillo, have both been selected to participate in the leadership of Clear Lake Class of 2027. This is hosted by the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce and focuses on personal and professional development. I think Richard went through it last year. We have 2 people every year go through it. And we're excited that they were selected and wish them well in that program. The FIFA World Cup is in full swing, and even though we've had a lot of rain, we are seeing a lot of watch parties being hosted by local businesses. And the play usually starts midday. I think the next game is Friday at 2:00. I think there's one going on right now. But anyway, try to look around and go grab a watch party and watch some of the games. We also have a registration for the city's 4th of July parades. The theme this year is Let Freedom Ring, Pima style, and that will be preceded by a kids parade and a pet parade. The staging will be at 9 a.m. The kids and pets parade will roll out at 10, and then the main parade will be at 10:30. You can sign up on the website or the Facebook page, I believe. We're just a few weeks into hurricane season, and I just want to remind everybody to have a preparedness plan and get all their documents together and plan. We got lucky the last few days. And we also have a disaster guide that they're available here in the lobby at City Hall. I think that's all I have tonight, and we'll do council members' comments. Council Member Rourke, would you like to start?
I'm just glad we're not getting hit by a storm. period.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Other than that, I don't have really anything to say.
Okay. Councilman Wallace?
No, the usual. Thanks everyone for coming out, and for anyone that's viewing, we appreciate you, and just be safe.
And Councilman Broadus is out of town tonight. He is, however, online and can hear us. Councilman Oliver, I'm sorry about that.
Nothing to add. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
And Councilwoman Thorne?
I'll be brief. Just want to remind everyone, June 19th is not only about freedom for slaves, but all of the people that were put into slavery. But it's freedom, what it echoes. It's freedom for us all. So I think we are so much more alike and have things in common. We value our freedom, and especially in this 250th year that we show celebration and take note of it. The other thing I'd like to say is Adam Klein He's an autistic young man, and autism has been a forefront for with the police department and with current and former council members. He is in competition for the Johnny Depp Artistic Artist of the Year, and he's in the quarterfinals. And we would ask that you just Google his name, Adam Klein, and Johnny Depp, and that you vote. It doesn't cost anything to vote, and you get one vote a day. He's in the quarterfinal. It's a marathon, so bring him home. And my last thing is, thank you, Pastor Haynes, for coming. And if the council will indulge me, I'd like him to announce the dates, because this is a vacation Bible school that we will be having this summer. And if he could just, if the council's all right, because I don't have the specific dates, if he can give the dates.
You want the dates of the VBS?
Yes.
Our VBS, Vacation Bible School, is July 6th through 10th. And I want you guys to know we're proud partners with Stewart Elementary. We do Crossroads Kids Ministries there throughout the school year and are very important to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is City Administrator's Report. We have a ARP grant details, call for volunteers, and then Caesar will also talk about the Adopt a Drain program.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council. We have announced that we've officially been awarded for 2 different ARP grants. One is for a walkability study, one is for a bikeability study. I'd like to thank Councilman Lee Wallace for taking the lead and willing to serve as one of the leaders of the walkability audit. This is what we're doing today is a call for volunteers. We do need some more volunteers for the walkability and the bikeability audit. We ask that folks please come forward that would be interested in doing so. They can call us and inquire about more information. I have some flyers that were posted on the agenda, but also will be laid out and sent out and put on different social media postings and on our city's website. What we are recruiting volunteers for this effort. The idea is for us to do a walkability and bikeability audit of the city, so we can identify places where we might need bike lanes, where we might need sidewalks, where there's better places that we can have for more connectivity throughout the city, and not just throughout the Lighthouse District, but citywide, whether it's in neighborhoods or different locations where we might need repairs to certain curbs or sidewalks as well. So as part of this program, we're excited to be funded. The next step is for us to create a group of volunteers. There are several calls once you do sign up for the walkability audit. There will be a 1-hour webinar on Tuesday, June 30th. And then for the bikeability one, a date has not been set. It looks, sorry, I stand corrected, on Tuesday, July 7th. So 1 week apart, so we can kick both of those programs off. So we'd like a show of volunteers for that, if at all possible. So if you could please help us spread the word. We brought this information to KCDC, are asking them to do the same. I'll leave some of these flyers here and make sure we get some out as well. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get volunteers in different sectors of the city, so we can hopefully cover the entire city, blanket the entire city to make it more walkable and bikeable. Mayor did mention the disaster program. I do have a copy of it here. If anybody would like one, there's some more out front. If we need some more, we're constantly reloading them. We started putting them out and they've been walking away, which is a good thing. So please, if any of your neighbors need one, please let us know. If any folks from the Huntington or anybody else need some, please let us know so we can try to help you, or any of the HOAs, so we can try to get some out in your hands so you can help us distribute these. It's not the typical booklet. It's got some nice checklists. It's easy to read. It's not overburdensome, so I have some copies here if anybody would like one. Thank you. The next item is the Adopt a Drain program. We have a flyer here, still in draft form. Essentially what we're doing is we can't experience storm water and drainage issues as we have during the past few weeks. We know the need for it. That you have placards that are at each one of your stations. I do have to take those back. We did receive, as part of a grant fund, a grant award through Clean Coast Texas, 260 of those to put on some of our drains. If you notice, they're affixed and they say City of Kemah on them, towards the bottom of them. The idea with those is to make sure that we're putting them on, affixing them. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilwoman Thorne. The idea is to fix them on some of these drains and also hopefully receive that there's a captain in charge of each drain. Part of our program to try to map all these, we do have a drainage committee member that's here, Mr. Langford. We want to make sure we get volunteers to also identify the drains that are in trouble, drains that need to be taken care of, but also by having a captain, it serves as having more eyes. So you can also encourage your neighbors to maybe not throw leaves out, to maybe bag up their grass clippings, different things of that nature that we can do to help the stormwater system throughout the city. We've already had, Mayor Collins has already said that she'd like to be the very first one to take the leadership role. We applaud her for that effort, and we ask council members if you or any of your neighbors would like to do the same, and also any residents in the area or businesses that would like to be part of this Adopt a Drain program. It is going to be put together through our communications team, through our website. We want to identify all the ones that have been, one, how many we have total, which we don't have an accurate map GIS. We're going to try to load these through GIS. That's part of the program. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we're also identifying that we have a captain for each one. It's a great way for businesses to partake and give back and to be part of the program, to make sure that their drains are taken care of. We are just piloting this right now. We only have 260 of these. The idea is if it does do well, and we want to get more, that we can follow up on that program. Last that I have here, Council, I've given each one of you, again, for environmental purposes, residents or business members that are out here in the public. We have plenty of these to give out through our partnership with the WCID, and in an effort to try to create better sewage responsibility from everybody. We have these Cease to Grease. Some folks saw these and thought it was something else. These are actually for grease. The purpose of these is that when you have grease you're going to throw out, we're trying to prevent them from going down the drain. We want you to utilize these, to put them in a bottle and properly discard them through the trash. It is safer for sewer management, it's safer for our sewer lines, and it's just the best thing we can do to be better stewards. We will be giving this out. We have some here if anybody would like one. I didn't know how many to get them all in your hand, but I have them here if anyone would like one before they walk. You guys leave today. If we need more, we'll definitely get more as well. If you want to walk out with a hurricane guide as well, please do so. But I definitely wanted to share that opportunity with everybody to please do so. Thanks again to our Drainage Committee. Thanks again to our partnership that we have with WCID. We'd like to continue doing some of these environmental programs to get the word out on these things. Lastly, I did want to mention that this Saturday is our hurricane preparedness event. We are partnering with the county. It will be, I will be in League City as it was last year. We had a great showing, had a great turnout. Fire, PD, and Public Works will all be participating. We'll have Jerry and Devin, who also will be there, to try to get the word out on what we can do for disaster preparedness. And we'll have a lot of trinkets and giveaways and things and so forth that we can give out to members of the public who visit. And that concludes my report for today. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Susan? Okay, next is reports from staff. That's 9A through 9I. If any of you have any questions for any of on the reports? Seeing none, we will move to the consent agenda to approve the minutes of the 6/3/2026 City Council regular meeting. I have a motion by Councilman Lee Wallace. Do I have a second? I have a second by Councilman Bob Rourke. All those in favor? Any opposed? Present. I beg your pardon? Present. We might need to check with Robert's rules. I'm not sure that you can vote present. That's more of a roll call vote, if I'm not mistaken. You need to vote affirmative, negative, or abstain. I'll abstain. So we have 2 for, 2 against. I mean, I can't even talk tonight. We have 1 abstaining, Natasha.
I'd like to clarify why I abstained, if that's allowed.
Absolutely.
There was just one little line, just an oversight. I found out that I need to address that prior to the meeting, and I will in the future, but there was just a line missing, because to me, minutes are historical documents, and items that were in the, and I don't have to get into details, items that were in the minutes were not present at the last meeting. They were added after the fact. So that's why I'm gonna just vote the way I did. Thank you.
Ms. Thorne, you can actually make edits to the meeting
Yeah.
during this time.
Yeah, if you had edits to the minutes, we can do that at this time as part of the vote. If you have any suggested edits.
It already had a second, and so it passed, my time was passed to make that comment, so it's fine.
However, if I can say, just for the sake of accuracy, if there is a need to make any corrections to the edits, if you could please let us know what those may be. We do, for the sake of accuracy, want to get them right. So, and if the body would like to, again, let me not be out of turn, can we reopen this item and get the edits in now before we move on to the next item?
Yes, we can.
Council, would you allow that an opportunity to do so?
Absolutely. I want them to be correct tonight, if
Ma'am?
possible.
The only thing was that, there were, comments, written comments that were added to the minutes. And when I look at minutes, that's what happened at the, meeting. And again, I realize meeting can be long and God knows I'm long-winded. That, it just, and someone looking at the minutes historically would believe that those comments were made at the meeting, and they were not. And I just asked for a simple line that be put, that these were added after the meeting was concluded. That's all I'd ask. Thank you.
Councilwoman, just so we can, for the sake of getting this right, what section was that under, on the minutes?
That was under the, comment written, I guess it's called written comments, or it was just after the minutes.
Jaisha, how do we correct the vote that's already gone through tonight?
We need a new motion.
Just have another motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe we need a motion that states what the specific
Right.
correction would be.
I make a motion that the minutes are accepted with the correction to add, one line that, written comments were added to the minutes after, the meeting concluded.
But she's saying we can have another motion.
That doesn't sound, it's already voted and approved.
I mean, I don't,
I've
so we're
not
just
had
adding,
it
we're
happen
just,
before.
we're just adding a
so-
clarification line? Is that what you're
I
asking?
think that's what it sounds like. That's why I think we're allowed to, but that's why I wanted to make sure what the clarification was. Natasha, do you have record of what you know about the
Yes,
correction?
it's the online submittals were included in the minutes at the very end, and we can make a note that they were not read into record, but included in the minutes.
Okay. So I guess the motion would be, if I can, the motion you made with what Natasha did together, and if somebody would like to just make sure that that's how it's worded correctly. Deja, can we proceed that way?
Yes, we're just clarifying. So a second motion to clarify your motion.
Is that what she said?
Do I need to repeat the motion?
I guess motion with the clarification
No,
to the,
to approve, I make a motion to approve the minutes with the clarification.
and do we need to revote?
You would need a second to her motion before you revote
Okay,
it.
I need a second.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilman Rourke. All those in favor? Any opposed? Clarification motion carries. 11A, consideration of possible action to approve Resolution 2026-24, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Kima, Texas, establishing a written public comment procedure for city council meetings, providing for submission deadlines, inclusion in public record, and reading of comments into the minutes, and providing an effective date. And while this says mayor and council, I believe Councilwoman Thorne is the person that puts this on the agenda.
Okay. So do I need to make the motion and then get a discussion?
We have been just discussing
All
without
right.
motion to discuss, so
All right.
we'll try to stay with that for a
All
while.
right, thank you. This motion this resolution is in deference to working voters and business owners that can't get to the meeting for 3 minutes. I've personally had a resident talk about how they actually took off and then later found out there was not a quorum, so they took off work for 3 minutes that they weren't even allowed to have. Again, it's in respect for staff's time to not have a meeting at a later time, but to actually have it. So you would have public comment, and then you'd also have a line that said written comments. And this provides for them actually being read into the minutes. It provides an opportunity, if there are too many of them, that it can be summarized, any profanity. It's very, in my opinion, very thorough, and yet it gives the working public an opportunity, a formal opportunity to address the council. This is being done by League City, Galveston, Corpus Christi. I didn't just come up with this out of the blue, so I'd ask that it be considered.
If I'm not mistaken, a lot of the beginning of these kinds of comments being read into and submitted came during COVID, when we were all struggling with how to meet online, and we hadn't ever done that before. I think that I've got several comments. People already have the ability to address their city council people either by calling them. All the ones up here are very available. They also have the ability to email them personally, and they're always available. They can email the city secretary and have that disseminated between them prior to a meeting. And I see this also as that, or they can come to the meeting, or they can have someone come and represent them at the meeting. I think that if we, that this could, lengthen meetings. I see lots of inherent issues with this. Maybe all these issues can be hammered out. Is the sender truly the sender? Did the sender authorize the exact statement? Are duplicate submissions being sent? Do we read all of them or one of them? And then who and how decides which ones we read at the meetings? Submission deadlines, residency requirements, agenda items only. We're not real strict up here typically about being addressed in city council on things that are not on the agenda. I mean, we don't really restrict that typically. We let everyone speak. I think that these items should at least be restricted to agenda items only. How do we handle the word or the time limits? Who reads faster than another one? How much can we cram into 3 minutes? Are all of them verified? Are any of them anonymous? Are anonymous ones prohibited or not? How do we deal with personal attacks or profanity if used? Are they read or only summarized? I can go on and on. I thought of a lot of things, and I know you covered a lot of those in here. I just want us to take into consideration all that it might put on a staff member that's already wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot of things, having to collect them in a certain time frame and present them.
Well, the staff members here, because it would go to the city secretary, and I'm not trying to put them on the spot, but do you see an issue with this?
That's
I'm not
not
gonna comment
fair.
on that.
I know, thank
That's
you.
not fair.
Yeah,
All right, I asked.
Personally, I mean, if we want to encourage participation and people can't make it, I don't really see a problem with maybe receiving these emails and include them in our packets. And I mean, we're grown-ups, we know how to read. We don't have to read every one of them in public. They'll be part of the record if they're emailed to us and they're in our packet. I just think it's too much work to stack onto already worked staff. That's just my opinion.
any other comments or a discussion?
If I may, just as these are received, only because, for example, Councilman Thorne, you mentioned the city secretary. Sometimes some of these things may be emailed to myself and not the city secretary, or she may be out, whatever the situation is, or myself, either or. Getting those out to everybody, what's been the custom kind of an unwritten policy that we do is whenever we receive something like this of concern for the entire council, is we'll forward them to all of you as a blind copy. So I put to Natasha, so she has a record of the fact that I've sent it to you. I will copy whoever, whatever department is, let's say it's a drainage concern or something else somebody wants to report about, or a public safety concern. And then I will put all of you under the blind copy with the note saying, hey, this is a note from a resident or a business owner about an upcoming item or something else of concern. Please don't reply all because we don't want to violate anything else of that nature. So that's been the procedure that we've done so far. I mean, we never publicly displayed that. That's just best practice that I've done and it's done commonly in other cities. I do know that other cities do have something similar to this. We'll do as the body wishes, but I just want to, the only part that I, as a staff and from our perspective, there was a question on was just on section 7, because of the discussion on too many. If there are too many, what does too many look like? Is there a word count? If somebody, just one comment comes in and it's 18 paragraphs long, noting if part of it is on the actual about agenda items or not. How do you exceed the 3 minutes? As was mentioned, the speed of how folks read. If we can maybe limit a character count, something of that nature.
10,000, excuse me, there was 1,000 character count.
Okay.
In the online form that I observed.
I just want to make sure everybody saw that. I mean, I think if we can come to terms with something like that, I can't speak for the entire team. Obviously, from review, we did not have a chance to talk about that before this, but that's the only section that kind of stood out to me a little bit. Again, whatever the body wishes, we will do as a team, but I just want to make sure that I was able to voice the opinion of some of the staff members I've had the opportunity to talk to about this.
Any other comments? Do we have a
Sorry. So Caesar, did you have a chance to review this before it went into the packet?
The only time I had a chance to review it was through the agenda software. And at that point, it was still in draft until the final version. I don't have the date as to when it was. So it was in draft form, pending whatever needed to go to start the queue. So I did read it briefly, but I didn't go into it until after it was already like past the agenda deadline. We had to approve it. And once legal approved it, I want to say hours before the deadline. So normally I don't start my review until that's been done. Because I don't want to review something that may not be legally sufficient at that time. So I usually go in that order. I'm usually the myself or indeed mayor in my absence, whatever would be the last reviewer.
For the record, I did submit it prior to the deadline.
Yes.
The legal, and I did not review it. And I don't know what their timeline is for reviewing it, but it was not reviewed and until the day of, if I want to.
I think it was whatever the almost due to the last day or the day of the last deadline.
Right, the Wednesday prior.
Yes, ma'am.
But I had submitted it properly in time.
Yes, no, there's no question about it being submitted. It just, unfortunately, with the review process being what it is. I will tell you, for example, our internal deadline for agenda items usually is the Friday of 2 weeks before. So for example, today is Wednesday. By this Friday, you'll have the deadline for the July 1st meeting typically. That gives us enough time for legal review and departmental review or any questions that need to be asked. Also, for all of you to have access to it once it becomes final and it's clicked approved, you'll know that the item is indeed in final draft, waiting for the agenda to be finalized. So I hope that answers your question.
Want to call the vote?
Do we have a motion on the floor?
I make a motion that the consideration of possible action to approve resolution 2624, a resolution of the City Council of City of Kima, Texas, establishing a written public comment procedure for city council meetings, providing for submission deadlines, inclusion in the public record, and reading of comments into the minutes, and providing an effective date. And just for the record, it did have a very extensive rationale and examples. Thank you.
Do we have a second? So we have a second by Councilman Rob Rourke. All those in favor? Any opposed?
No.
No.
In the case of a tie, I am the vote and I vote nay. 11B.
Mayor, before we move forward, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I think I'd like to make if I can, I'm willing to be corrected on this. I'd like to make a motion for Caesar to be able to bring this back with recommended edits from his office. on the best possible path forward for including online comments into the public record.
Certainly. Councilwoman Thorne, if I could work with you on that and legal to get that done?
Awesome. Was that made in the form of a motion?
I will make a motion for this item to be reviewed by the city administrator's office and brought back at a future date with recommendations from staff.
Do we have a second?
Have a second.
So we have a motion by Councilman Dustin Oliver and a second by Councilwoman Shalia Thorne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. 11B, consideration and possible action to approve Resolution 2026-25, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Kima, Texas, designating eligible census tracts within or serving the City of Kima as a local priority investment area and supporting nomination for the Federal Qualified Opportunity Zone designation, authorizing the submission of supporting information to the state of Texas and other applicable agencies and providing for an effective date. And I believe Caesar can talk to this one.
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. We've been, with the Opportunity Zone, this would be the second coming of the Opportunity Zone, also called OZ2 or Opportunity Zone 2.0. What this does is it is a mechanism put through the federal government for an opportunity for certain tracts to be eligible as opportunity zones. To summarize the big benefit, it does allow for certain gains or capital gains tax abatement for those that may want to invest in properties within these quadrants. Right now, the map shows two different quadrants that are selected. At the time of this going in, the second track wasn't finalized, but the first track is affectionately from 146, 2094 to Lawrence to 518 back to 146, so that quadrant. We do share that quadrant with Clear Lake Shores, and it's part of our ETJ and or unincorporated Galveston County. The other parcel is actually everything within the city limits east of 146. So any property owners, vacant property, or to be redeveloped property in those areas would qualify for the actual federal incentive, not ours, but a federal incentive in the form of capital gains tax abatement for those that are eligible, that invest eligible capital into these qualified zones. So as we're going through our strategic planning process, as we're going through all this, the federal government happened to open this window. The nomination, the application is due here towards the end of the month. I want to say it's the 29th, 26th, excuse me. We did want to bring this resolution forward because it does allow there to be opportunity for development or redevelopment within these quadrants. It does make us more competitive for development or redevelopment in these areas. There are many property owners that have properties in those areas that could certainly benefit from that. These are the qualified areas. We don't qualify them. The federal government does through the census tracts. And we're very lucky that almost one third to one half of the entire city is qualified for this opportunity zone at this time. We have to put the application in, obviously, it goes through a process, and if received and accepted, we advance to the next round. So the resolution for you tonight is to do so. The beauty of it is that it actually does not have any incentives from the city. It is a federal government for capital gains tax based on your business taxes. In your case, as a church, it is not something that would affect you negatively unless you wanted it. It would actually benefit you if you were tax exempt or tax lenient on that, some of those situations, some of those properties. So it depends on the business that chooses to redevelop in these areas. Again, these are quadrants that were not selected by us or part of the U.S. Department of Treasury, and we want to make sure we take advantage of that opportunity. We did bring this to KCDC as a opportunity to pursue this a few meetings back. We did look into it, and now it's time to put the resolution forward to support this application that we've been working on.
Any questions or comments for Caesar?
Did you say that KCDC brought this before the front of their body? Did they approve it?
We brought this before their body, letting them know that we would like to pursue it.
Did they?
There was no action. It was more or less letting them know of the opportunity.
Thank you.
Any more questions or comments or discussion? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-25.
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilman Lee Wallace, a second by Councilman Dustin Oliver. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11C, consideration and possible action to approve interlocal agreement for the provision of 457B Retirement Savings Plan services for city employees.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item is it pertains to the 457 benefit plan. That's part of our employee package. We currently have two service providers, neither of which any city employees are taking advantage of. After consideration and discussion with some employees that would consider it, they felt that the current ones we had were not meeting or suiting their needs. We did reach out to them. They still was not sufficient improvement in their activity. So this is another eligible provider that's available. It is no cost to the city because it's a contribution from the actual employees. So if anybody would like to participate in that, they'll have a chance to do that and meet with them individually. We're just providing the forum for them to go have that opportunity to do so. Our previous providers were Equitable and Mission Square. We can continue to keep those agreements, so it's not that we're getting rid of them. It's more of just letting folks know that here's another option available to them. It is a free benefit, but I just want to bring this before you so we can have your approval to sign this information to proceed to the next step for the benefit of our employees.
Any more questions or comments, discussion?
I make a motion to approve interlocal agreement for the provision of 457B Retirement Savings Plan services for city employees.
Second.
So a motion by Councilman Lee Wallace, a second by Councilman Dustin Oliver. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11D, consideration and possible action to approve GOMESA grant agreement, CMP project of special merit GLO contract number 26-056-006-F406. That's a lot of words.
Thank you, Mayor. It's an exciting time. Obviously, as everybody knows, the 57-acre nature facility is a project that was a cleared project through KCDC a while ago. Through partnership with the city, phases 1 and 2 were completed, which we had the ribbon cutting earlier last year. We're now in the opportunity to pursue with more of those. We applied with everybody's blessing for this no match grant through GOMESA, and I'm happy to report in front of you tonight for your approval is a contract for a no match grant of $2,619,000, and I didn't memorize the rest of the numbers, for a no cost match to continue improvement of this park. This item was brought to you for approval back before we applied. I was given the authority to do so since it had no match. We've went through a very, very rigorous, almost year-long process to get to this point. We are now here, and what we were seeking tonight is your approval to authorize this agreement to be signed for a monumental grant to proceed with the development of this park.
Any questions or comments?
I noticed that there was there was extensive reporting. Sometimes it's monthly, and typically, and I can only speak for the nonprofit world, you have actually a grant administrator whose time is billed to that. Are we gonna be able to bill that time? Because it's extensive.
That's part of the process that we've looked into when we're putting this together. Part of the budget scope and things of that nature, that would be with inherent admin costs that is tied to it. So we do look forward to doing that in this process as part of this as needed.
So if I understand it correctly, I'm just trying to confirm, the admin time will be gone against this project.
As needed with funding agency approval.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Do we have a motion?
I make the motion to approve GOMESA grant agreement CMP project special merit GLO contract number 26-056-006-F406.
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilman Lee Wallace, a second by Councilman Dustin Oliver. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11E, consideration and possible action to move forward with the 6th Street proposal. And I don't know if this is, Councilman Oliver wants to speak to it, or Caesar?
Want me to do it?
Before we go any further, are we still in litigation on this project? So the time is out, they can't appeal it?
We're not in litigation anymore.
I know, but, or is the time run out where they can no longer appeal this?
They cannot.
This is a KCDC item that was approved several years ago as part of the circulator. It was approved by KCDC and it brought to council. Council at the time chose to table because of the lawsuit that was pending at the time. We were asked to bring it back now that the lawsuit's been resolved. This is an updated price in here for your review. This is this is the same map that was presented then. Nothing has changed from any of this. Mr. Wiggins is here as one of the landowners. His comments are correct. He was indifferent when we talked about this several years ago, about the parking spaces in front of his property there. If that needs to change to angled parking, and he would rather it not be golf cart and motorcycle designated parking, I'm happy to take this item back and work on that with him and get his approval. Yes, sir.
Yes, you may.
These, there's some oddball lines out there where top more scallywags just come out. And I would like to have the same opportunity there. We'll go between, city still has a right of way. We have a special ordinance that allows us to build out into the right of way. If that doesn't show being honored on that drawing, I know I'm drawing is not really probably to scale or anything else. But as long as that line is still good, I'm good with it. On the other side.
So I guess, do I need to table this to bring clarification to that this
Matt,
doesn't
have
change
you-
any of that?
It's already an ordinance.
Right.
But Matt, have you read the ordinance?
You'll change it since y'all did.
No, we have not, but I had a meeting not too awfully long ago, and I believe it's only for one side of the street. It's only for,
I want to be able to build out to the same line that Scalawags is out to.
So none of this would change his ability to do that. This is just putting a resurface and changing the color of those spots. I mean, if he builds over it later.
but if you build out, then there, to where they did, you wouldn't have the parking places.
That issue you would still have some.
Well, maybe it should be revisited then, Dustin.
Okay, I will make a motion to, I'll make a motion to table this until the second meeting in July. So I can go back and work out the details with.
Second.
Sorry.
Just question, point of clarity. Since this already went to KCDC as was presented tonight, did you want this to go back to them before?
Well, this is already an approved project.
Right.
It's not going to change any of the price. I don't think
Okay,
anything.
I just wanted to also mention that it already go to KCDC earlier in the week. So, and they do support it as it is, but obviously there's going to be more discussion. I want to be on the same page with everybody.
I will.
We have a motion on the floor then by Councilman Oliver to table this and revisit and bring it back to the second meeting in July. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilman Wallace. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will adjourn at 4:55 for an executive session.
Locked you in, didn't it?
Appreciate you. That's the person that you're to. We're not there, they vote on opinion. Yeah. The president, you may Mr. President.
Send help. They will 10 minutes. Send help. Stickers? No, actually, I gotta take those back because we gotta go put them on. So those are just showing, showcase. Rashard's got the rest of them. We gotta put them out. Isn't that neat? Yeah. Actually, we can talk to Rashard and Devin about it. I gotta get to the back real quick. These folks are back here waiting. I'll see you. Man. Nice to see you. Sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I just need people to register. People know about it, but they're gonna wait till I finish registering, and that adds to the chaos. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Ms. Jerry and Devin are leading that.
We
That's the building of the retirement building. Yeah. It's across the street from there. I can't. Oh, I have seen it. Yes. Yeah. I live on, I live in King Louis. Okay, okay, yeah. Yeah. You buy there every day. Sure. Yeah, I'm on certain building. So, I just, well, I'm going to just join, Clear Creek. Yeah, they got a new facility open. Yeah. My daughter is actually in Bible study for the men campus. And sometimes she goes to some of the satellite things. Yeah. So I've been at Gateway for the last 20 years. Okay. I know Gateway. Too far. Yeah. I know Gateway. Randy left, unfortunately, very I heard in Gateway, I think you guys had, well, they're not cold. Oh, yes. It's so good. Yeah, and it's.
Yeah, don't forget what is the real one. Actually,
that's like,
in the iPhone.
Randy resonated in a way. More, more ways. Well, the fact that the combination of. Yes. I'm calling you for those Christ. We can be friends with each other and
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I know, I want to steal it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll give you time to sit
Go
down.
ahead, go ahead, man, you gotta go. I gotta take care of
I will call the city council meeting back to order at 5:16 PM. And 13A, consideration and possible action to review and appoint position 6 of the Kima Community Development Corporation, or KCDC.
Mayor, before we have a motion, I would just like to recuse from.
Yes,
Yes,
Natasha, Councilman Dustin Oliver will be recusing himself from the vote. Do I have a motion for 13A?
I'll make the motion. to read that?
Yes, sir.
Turn my computer off. I make the motion to appoint position 6 of Kima Community Development Corporation to Mr. Jacob Bigger.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Lee Wallace, a second by Councilman Rob Rourke. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion does carry with 3 votes. And is there anyone that has any comments here at the end or discussion or anything? I have one. I just want to say that the grant that you all approved tonight, I think it's $2.6 million. I think that it's a significant investment in Kima's future and in the park. And I thank you so much for taking time to approve that. And with that said, I will adjourn the meeting at 5:18 PM.
Can I have one?
Yes, you can. I'm
Well,
sorry, I thought
now I
had
can
to-
go sign the
apologies.
documents. They have sent me those documents at least 9 times. I finally sent them, because they're like